Parfum de Inza. This particular company was created and founded by Inza Cedre Doux. Interesting story behind him. 4 years prior, he was diagnosed with a condition that will leave him blind within a few months. Being hospitalized and going through a successful operation, he wanted to work on his senses. He ended up crossing paths with John Stephen from Bodacia the Victorious. He began working on training his senses with a focus on his smell. And from there, he was given the idea to start his own perfume brand and to get into commercial perfumery. Worked alongside him, worked alongside Naughton and Wilson of the creators of Gravitas for Homme. Also worked alongside Sheck and Speck, perfumers to the British and Middle East royalty families, looking to create a perfume with sustainability and development in mind, looking to engage in perfumery that isn't so wasteful and so harmful for the body, looking to source and preserve natural ingredients in a sustainable way, that those same ingredients can be here for generations to come. This company's been in development for the past 3 years, crossing all T's, dotting all I's, following all the guidelines by the IFRA, toxicology test, as well as health and safety assessments. He has 4 fragrances that are production ready, and is also looking to possibly release 4 fragrances each year, 3 fragrances and 1 possible limited edition. Wants to mainly keep his focuses on high quality oils and absolutes to give you the best quality and the longest lasting fragrance. It's going to smell amazing. I got 4 fragrances here that came. I'm going to be going over one of his fragrances tonight. The name of this fragrance, Cedre Doux. And as always, we're going to try, and we may not be able to guess the notes exactly, but we're going to try at least get the profile and get the overall, like the DNA type of what we got going on here. Get a few sprays here. There's something in here that reminds me of like a cinnamon or cinnamon bark, but usually I'm getting that confused with sometimes something that may come off almost pine-like. I've gotten some pine-like accords from fragrances that would utilize yuzu. It'll be like a really harsh citrus that doesn't come off really juicy, really dry, really peppery, pine, pine-like, almost pine needle, and it could almost give you the same accord of like a cinnamon bark. That's what I'm getting here. I'm getting something that's damp woody. This is a cool, damp, woody, and it has almost like a cinnamon bark sort of a vibe to it. So I'd take a gamble and say maybe that could be getting possibly a yuzu, like a really harsh one. There's a slight animalic vibe going on with this particular wood. I'm catching a little bit of bergamot as well. It's something that comes off like a bergamot, or like there's a citrus up top. With that sort of cinnamon vibe that I was catching, I'm going to definitely gamble and say it's possibly a yuzu. I'd say I'm possibly catching a bergamot as well. Could be a jasmine here. The way that this is coming off and smelling, you get like a cold, damp, but slightly smoky sort of accord from the woods. Very dense, very full. I like the fact that it has like this sort of misty quality about it. Something in that opening that's helping provide that. There's the faintest like just tinge of an animalic, but there may not be any like actual animalics present, but there's a faint hint of that accord lingering around. Something comes off almost like labdanum. You're catching something that almost feels leathery, almost feel peppery, but it's not quite all the way there to classify it as a leather. So something almost comes off like maybe like an olivinum or a labdanum present. This fragrance, in my opinion, comes off like a cold, damp incense. Very chill, light, has a fullness to it, but still very light, cool, damp, airy. Has like a little bit of this dusty smokiness to it, and then you get like this really misty white floral kind of a vibe. So that's reminding me of the jasmine possibly. Really nice. And this smells extremely natural. Nothing in this comes off synthetic. Nothing smells like this is lab created. Everything that I'm smelling so far in this fragrance smells completely natural. Definitely loving that peppery incense sort of vibe that sort of settles down as the fragrance begins to go into that dry down. And you just get like a peak of whatever that is. There was something in that opening that's beginning to settle down, and it just comes off like slightly sharp and cold. And it just feels like a pine like, cinnamon like, almost fresh like vibe that's coming in with that. And it's just really interesting how that plays out. And it's just really interesting the way that plays out. And once again, that is Cedre Doux. I'll drop the link in the description where you guys can check out this company for yourself. Take a look around and see if anything suits your fancy. Take a look at the story in full. Really interesting and compelling story. Definitely attracted me more to this brand. And I'm definitely looking forward to checking out some more of their offerings. Stick around. We'll be doing more videos covering the rest of their fragrances. Oh, and I almost forgot. Let's take a look at the notes for this fragrance. So the note layout for this is bergamot, sweet Brazilian orange, spice, orange flower absolute, narcissus absolute, hay absolute, patchouli, cedarwood, benzoin resinoid absolute. So we ended up catching the cedarwood. We ended up guessing the bergamot. I mentioned jasmine, but that wasn't in the fragrance. But we were catching a little bit of that orange flower, maybe, possibly. We said that was something that was coming off sort of incense-like and sort of spiced. So that could be a tribute to the spice note in the mid. I kept mentioning like a yuzu, like a really harsh citrus. I'm not sure how sweet Brazilian orange comes off, but I know whenever I hear sweet orange, it's usually like really like cleaner, industrial, like really harsh the way it comes off. So maybe that was what we were catching and we were just mixing it up with yuzu. The animalic, I'm not sure where that came from that I was catching. It was something that was slightly on that side. It could possibly be that hay absolute, but I'm not exactly sure. But that wraps it up for our video, you guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys soon. Peace.